The city where I live, its park system is an absolute blessing. The people in this city will disagree on everything from French toast to cable knit sweaters. But I don't think you could find anyone living here who doesn't like the parks. The parks are free, open, green, clean, with trails and vast play areas, playgrounds for little ones, fountains, artworks, picnic areas, gardens, ball fields, and beautiful old buildings that look like castles that you can rent for special occasions, like a wedding. Some parks are big, others just a tiny patch, and they are located throughout the city. They're wonderful. They used to be even better. Many of the larger parks had their own caretaker who lived on the grounds. Their homes were made of stone and wood and gave the area a stately appearance. But that became an unaffordable expense. First the caretakers went, and then the houses, unoccupied, began to deteriorate. And then they had to be boarded up to keep people from invading them for various up-to-no-good reasons. And that was followed by outright vandalism, the typical spray paint graffiti and rocks thrown through the windows. Eventually, and it didn't take long, the buildings looked so bad they had to be razed. And there were shelters in many of the parks. There was room for 3 or a half dozen big picnic tables in them, and usually a huge stone fireplace. But these were misused. Kids would come at night to drink or do drugs, leave their trash behind, and the first thing the park board did to discourage this was to use cinder blocks and mortar to close up the fireplaces, an ugly sight. Then they removed the picnic tables. But when the naked structures they left got hit with the inevitable graffiti and vandalism, most of the shelters were torn down. Not so long ago, I noticed that it was getting harder to find a grill in many of the parks. At first I thought it was my imagination, but then I'd go to a park where I knew there were grills, and I couldn't find one, not a single grill. One day I saw a park employee working on a garden, and I asked her, "What are you doing with the grills?" thinking they had some new policies about fire in the parks. And she said, "Oh no, that's not us. We're trying to replace them. People are stealing them, cutting them out for the scrap metal value." So the parks are something of a battleground. Beautiful as they are costly to maintain. We have levies to support them, as we do handicapped children and mental health patients. And there are apparently other considerations I would never have anticipated. Yesterday, I went into one of the parks, seeking a quiet walk in the woods, and at the trailhead I saw a new sign that read, "Caution, trees along this trail may be hazardous." What? The first thing I pictured was Ichabod Crane in the Disney cartoon on his tired old horse at night, clip-clopping along, and the wind picks up and the looming trees seem to spring to life to reach out and grab him. Hazardous? Do they mean like smoking is hazardous or hazardous waste? How hazardous is a tree? And what about all the rest of the things along the trail? The plants and critters and bugs and such? Are the park directors meeting right now, planning warning signs for each of them? Or will they erect one big sign at each park entrance? "Caution, this park is a natural area. Enter at your own risk." I mean this as a joke, but if I see that sign the next time I go to a park, I won't be surprised. Meanwhile, you may be sure that I'm keeping a close eye on all those trees.